This week's episode is brought to you by NYXI Gaming and the Flexi controller. What sets the NYXI Flexi apart is the ability to change the left stick and D-pad around, so the sticks are either symmetrical or asymmetrical, so you can swap the controls to your preferred Xbox or PlayStation layout. You can connect the Flexi to PC, Mac, Nintendo Switch, Android and iOS, and it comes complete with Hall effect sticks and triggers, as well as mechanical micro switch ABXY keys and RGB. Latency is non-existent in both wired connection and via the included 2.4 GHz dongle for wireless connection, as NYXI have done a great job with the 1000 Hz polling rate, meaning your inputs are lightning fast in game. Check out our full review over at podcastversusplayer.com to find out more, and use promo code PvP to get 10% off at NYXIGame.com. Now, back to the podcast. Hello, welcome to Podcast vs. Player episode 307. I'm one of your hosts, Cal, and as always, I'm joined by a man who thinks parallel lines have so much in common. It's a shame they'll never meet. Danny Bloody Dan.
Bonjour.
Ooh, musical this week?
Only a little bit, because I'm only a little bit musical.
I thought you were going to break into like some kind of Elton John song.
Why?
I mean, it's a little bit funny, but it's a little bit musical.
Right, well, you keep that up and we will be Saturday Night Fighting.
Heyo. How are you, Rocket Man?
Very good. Candle in the wind.
Oh. I just thought you wasn't sure if you were good or not. I didn't think you were trying to think of another Elton John pun.
I was trying to think of another Elton John song.
I'm glad you went with the one that's about death.
It was 30 years ago. It's fine.
Get over it.
How you doing? You all right?
I am all right, mate. It's Wednesday. It's Daredevil Day. It's been really, really sunny. I've got some new car seats. Everything's coming up roses, Dan.
Yeah, baby.
But speaking of Daredevil, we're going to circle back around to that because I don't want to jump into it just yet. We had some big old fat juicy Nintendo news last week.
Yes, I was on standby after the Nintendo Direct to talk about whatever it was that was actually discussed within it. You fucked off whatever you were doing. Some excuse.
I wasn't available. I was out having a fancy meal and being serenaded. One of those things is true.
But yeah, we did get a chance to talk about it. Nintendo Switch number 2, as I think is the full title that Nintendo have given it. And the outrageous prices of all the games that are going to be released with it, as well as what those games are going to be.
Well, I've got some extra juicy news relating to the games, Dan. I found out today via the ever faithful and respected people at IGN that the actual games do not contain the games. We're in Xbox One launch territory, where basically the disc is the key, just to prove that you own the game.
They did announce that.
I didn't pay attention to that bit. If that's the case.
Because I thought you were going to say something else, but that is what they said, that it's not.
Why is it
it's
80
not
quid
a physical. Well, therein lies the question, because I got there's a website. I don't know if you know of it, called Shop2.
Yes, I am aware of Shop2.
So I have bought Switch games off there because typically they I remember I got Pokemon Violet on
Nintendo Switch 1.
I think it was on the day. No, on the day it came out. So I think I bought it in advance, but I got it for like 38 quid, and I was like, "This isn't bad." Brand new Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Pokemon games, they are expensive generally because they've no reason to drop them. That's a fucking bargain. That is. I got an email from them the other day saying like, "Oh, some great deals on Switch 2 games," and I was like, "Okay, what you got?" And it was like Mario Kart World, $74.99, Donkey Kong Bonanza, $75, and I was like, "Oh, you can stop already." Like, Petey Piranha camera, 36 quid. I'm just like, you're trying to flog peripherals for a console that isn't out yet, and the pricing is so outrageous that it's you buy a couple of games. Well, I say a couple, I'm exaggerating, but you buy a few games That's the console.
Thing is,
That doesn't work, mate.
at launch, like anybody who buys a console at launch and doesn't buy a game is an absolute idiot. Don't care who it is, even if it's backwards compatible. So if you bought a PS2, knowing that you could play PS1 games, you wouldn't buy a PS2 and not buy a PS2 game. That's stupid. Sure. That's really stupid. So obviously, UK pricing is $395.99 for the console on its own, or there's like a £440 bundle with Mario Kart. Or you can buy the Switch 2 Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 update and Donkey Kong Bonanza for £525. Chuck some Mario Kart in there. That's like nearly 80 quid. So now we're over £600 for that bundle one. Camera, Pro Controller. Let's buy a PC.
Yeah, it's you're looking at, just for a reasonable, like, even if you just wanted to get like a controller, maybe a couple of controllers, maybe a spare set of Joy-Cons, like if you've got, you know, kids, family members or whatever that are going to play and they don't all need controllers necessarily. The games that they're releasing, which some of which are like you say, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild for Switch 2, they're still almost twice as much as when they came out. For the Switch 1, or like you say, what was it? Breath came out on. Did you say it came out on the Wii U initially?
Breath of the Wild came out on. It was like the last game released, not the last game, but the last first party release.
Are you sure? I could have sworn it was only on the Switch.
No, it's Wii U. Because I owned it.
Right, okay, sure. But then that again it's 2 generations old at this point, and they're still again on this. 8. Yeah, it's 60, 70 quid a pop. So you're looking at, you know, you're 400-ish quid for the console. A controller, maybe an extra set of Joy-Cons if you know, I don't know if you can play it in the dock without the Joy-Cons on it.
Yeah.
But there's 2. If you've got a kid, that's a third one. So there's another 60, 70 quid for the controller. You're pushing £1,000, mate, by the time that you've got sort of like maybe a few of the launch titles and the console and a couple of the accessories that go with it. It's outrageous. We're going through an economic fucking meltdown at the moment. And they're like, this is a price point we feel is reasonable. And you know what the terrible and awful thing about it is? People will pay it.
I nearly bought one today, Dan.
You're the worst.
But like the actual price of the console, I don't think is too bad, all things considered.
Why would it? They could go, oh, it's 40 quid for the console, but it's £700 for the games. They'll make their money back.
Yeah, but it's the games that I have a problem with. I don't have a problem with paying like $3.95 or whatever for the console. It's because I know I'm going to get my money's worth, but I won't unless I pay £70 to £80 for a game. But then you're
exactly into the column that you were just saying is a bad thing, where you'd buy the console, but you wouldn't buy any of the games.
That's what I'm saying. You where I've just gone, like, just say round up £400 is a reasonable price to pay for a brand new console. That's fine. But now I've got to spend £70 to £80 for a game. Otherwise, you won't make your money's not make your money's back, but get your money's worth. So the second you've done it, you're forced to do it, and I will. I'll complain till I'm blue in the face, but I'll definitely buy one. It's just the game side of it. There's no reason, especially if there's nothing on that fucking cartridge. Don't make it a cartridge then.
Well, no, because that's where your backwards compatibility is going to come in, isn't it? You can use that same port for the Switch games. Yeah,
but I could also just fucking have a QR code for the new ones.
But that's all digital then, and like if you haven't got the space, you haven't got a memory card for it, you can just use the games that you've already got.
No, but I mean, yeah, that for the older stuff, but for the new ones, there's no game on the cartridge, so it's all digital anyway.
But that's why they were talking about this trading thing, so you can trade it with your mates, so you could give your mates access to that card for X amount of time, or however that system is going to work.
Which I think's fine. As like we
unless you're at distance. Because if we wanted to do that, you've got the new Donkey Kong, I've got the new Mario, and you go, well, I don't want to spend 75 quid on another Mario Kart. Is it going to be that good? And I go, well, I hate fucking Donkey Kong. It's so bloody hard. Do I want to spend 75 quid on that? We switch, give it a couple of weeks and go, do you know what? Yeah, we'll both buy it, and then you can return the card. But we live hours apart.
Yeah.
That's not feasible. It would need to be the equivalent of like giving someone access to your like a remote share thing.
Like the Steam family share.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So it's just sort of like, it's like a shared, it's an account that you can share access to one or two of those games at a time for a limited time. Otherwise, you've just got a group of mates. Everyone just buys one game each, and you've all got 10 games to play.
Swap them around.
Yeah. So the pricing on the games, that all of that said, business is business at the end of the day, and they're going to make their fucking fortune regardless of whether we pay at these outrageous prices at launch or not. The games look great. I've got no issue with them.
Everything looks like, even the stuff that I was skeptic about, like Cyberpunk, it looks like it runs really well on it.
I don't know, mate. Anything, as with any of them at the moment, anything where it's just sort of like, it's The Witcher, it's Cyberpunk. I'm just like, I'll just play it on something that's actually made to support something that's that big. And
I mean, I
it'll still be the lower end of playability.
Well, I don't know.
Graphically, sorry.
It's the YouTube videos I've been watching, like where people went to the event and they got to like have hands on with a good selection of the games, including some of the third parties to play Cyberpunk. And Wolf Den did a comparison on the ROG Ally PC handheld and the Steam Deck PC handheld, and the Switch 2 ran better with a higher resolution at a higher frame rate than the Steam Deck. But not the Asus ROG Ally, because...
Isn't the Steam Deck like 5 years old at this point?
I don't know. It's definitely not 5 years.
I'm pretty sure it came out during the pandemic, or it was launched during the pandemic.
You'll have to Google that, Dan. But I would say it came out 22 is my guess.
Oh, do you know what I might be thinking of? I might be thinking of the Steam controller.
That came out years before the pandemic. The Steam controller came out in like 2010 or something like that, wasn't it?
2022, yeah. So either way, that's a couple of years of development time. So, of course, a newer version of it is going to be more powerful than it. That's just,
but it's just the fact that it's you don't expect this from Nintendo.
For that fucking price, I do.
No, for the price. But anything that can run GTA, Cyberpunk, The Witcher in a perfectly playable way is good. If you can play Cyberpunk on the train, if you love Cyberpunk that much.
Again, I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing by any means. It's just that the potential for it to be, its absolute best form isn't going to be there.
Well,
and
no, but
I'm not going to, again, if people have never played, if they just want to buy Nintendo stuff, cool. That's at least an option for you to now be able to play it. That's really good.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, someone I know, they got The Witcher for the Switch. Why didn't they not call it the Switcher? Idiots. But they got that, and they said, it's been fine, blah 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 blah, until they played it on a PC, and they went, this is
That's the difference with the Switch though, and a PC handheld. Like with the Switch, you play Switch 1, you buy The Witcher 3, one of the greatest games ever made, and it's subpar at best. But the benefit of playing it on a Steam Deck or a ROG or whatever is you can play a pretty wank version of it, get home, and continue playing it on your PC.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't do that with this. If you get Cyberpunk for Switch 2, you can play it on Switch 2 or docked.
Yeah.
Which is better than nothing. But I'm... also, speaking of price, today I saw that Doug Bowser, who's got the greatest name for somebody that's like the president of Nintendo.
There's only one reason he was hired.
Yeah, it's not his backstory or anything like that.
No, it's not all his exceptional credentials.
But he was saying the price didn't factor into the Trump tariffs. So potentially it's going to cost even more in America.
Well, that's certainly a possibility. I was seeing today, because it's just kind of going a bit insane at the moment, they've increased the tariff against China to now 104%.
Yeah.
No, it's actually gone up again. It's like 124% now. They're just pulling numbers out of their arse at this point. But as part of that, like one of the main imports is things like toys, batteries, something else, like just general electronics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that is going to hurt. And I think, I don't know, I can't help but feel, and I really do hope that a lot of this is all bluster. It's all bluster, and then the world goes, can you just fucking calm down a bit? And then he'll have to backtrack on a lot of this stuff. But he'll sell it in the way that he's the genius that came up with this or whatever. It's going to be ridiculous, whatever the outcome.
It'll be the TikTok thing all over again, won't it?
Pretty much, yeah. And that's
him
still
that started it. And then he's like, I've saved it.
Fucking hell. But this is it. When he gets the tariffs to be reduced down to something more reasonable, he'll be like, yeah, I negotiated. They put their tariffs up trying to go, okay, well, we'll do the same then. They go, what do you mean you're going to do the same? Who do you think you are doing the same? We'll put ours up again then. And they go, cool, well, we'll meet you halfway again. Like, what are you doing? I think that whilst it might potentially, again, I can't help but feel that a lot of this is just, it's making waves for the sake of making waves, and then everyone's going to have to backtrack all of this because it's not going to work out very well.
Yeah.
Or everyone is wrong, and he's actually a goddamn genius, and he sorts the American economy out. But I can't help but feel that you're right, that there are going to be certain things where they go, well, we're going to have to increase, like for parts, and then the actual shipping of, all of that's going to go up. So the price for American consumers may be affected as well. But as it stands at the moment, if anything, it's just going to solidify trading with the rest of the world. Because we'll go, okay, well, we're not going to have those kind of crazy tariffs against you, so send them all to us instead. We'll have a surplus. Go for it.
I said this yesterday to I was talking to someone about the Switch too, and I genuinely think, because it keeps coming in, like what it popped in yesterday, it was in stock to pre-order, then it went immediately, and I saw it again today, and I didn't, and I ummed and ahed, and I was like, no, I'll leave it for a bit. It went out of stock again, like within 10, 15 minutes. It was back in again about an hour before we started this podcast, and I genuinely think it's because they're not sending a lot of units to America. Whatever was already in America, that's your allocated stock now.
I don't know.
Everything else is going to go everywhere.
Because this has all happened so quickly. Like, they plan for these kind of launches months, years sometimes in advance to make sure that they have enough manufactured. Although Nintendo very much plays the, we didn't think we need to make this many. I mean, like, one of the most popular gaming companies of all time. They go, fucking hell, we made like 1 million and more people want them. Outrageous.
They did say ahead of the pre-order thing for the Switch 2 that they'd made more units than they did with the original Switch, and they were doing a pre-order thing. So to pre-order it, you had to provide your Nintendo account that had X hours on it. So obviously, if you were a scalper, you just made one. Yeah. But that seems to just gone out the window.
Well, I suppose that if they go, well, actually, we've made 5 million units this time, and we've got 50 million people that want one. So, like, one day they're going to do the Switch 4 or whatever, and they go, right, everyone, we've made 100 million of them, and no one will buy it, and they'll go bankrupt. That it's just gonna flip so hard one day, and it's just gonna be the worst news ever for Nintendo.
Do you think this will reach the heights of Switch 1?
It depends.
Taking tariffs and stuff out of the equation.
Yeah, I mean, like politics. Again, I think a lot of that is all going to get backtracked anyway. And I don't know. I think that the Switch was such a change from like the Wii and the Wii U. It's this complete redesign. It was a lot more powerful. This is just, it's the same, but it's a better version of the same, which is not necessarily, that's not a bad thing by any means. No, it's just improving on what, it's improving on what works. But I don't know, like Nintendo have always felt like innovators. I'll always, I'm partly joking and partly not, but I always bang on about the fact that they're just milking the same fucking cows forever and ever and ever. One
of them's a driver in Mario Kart now.
But it works, and until it doesn't work, they will keep on doing that. But they are still very good innovators.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to make the most powerful console ever made, but they don't want to either. They go, well, you know what, we work fine doing what we do, and we're incredibly popular and incredibly successful doing that. But I think that they'll go Switch 2, if that still, sells a bunch. I don't know, do I see them doing a Switch 3? Probably not. I think that's when they'll say, let's change it up. Let's just have a look at, how can we do something completely different again?
Yeah.
That's where I'd hope that they go, rather than just go, well, let's do a Switch 3, let's do a Switch 4. Again, PlayStation make very good consoles, but 1, 2, 3, 4, it's more powerful, it's slimmer, it looks different. But there's nothing beyond that. The controller's kind of a bit more different, but that's it. They don't need to do anything else. They're a powerful console. That's what they want to be. They want to be able to put out the best looking games ever. And if they decided to innovate and say the PlayStation 6 is just going to be a handheld, people would go, what are you on about? Yeah. That's not what you're good at. That's not what you should be doing. You need to just do the 6, do the 7.
I love the Vita.
Yeah, as a peripheral, but they've tried it twice and it's not really paid off either time. So, you'd be lucky if they return back to it. But it's because of something like the Switch, it's because of something like the Steam Deck, that they could be looking at it and go, well, people are, they're digging the handheld market, and we could make a significantly more powerful version of the Vita and call it the Vita 2.
But they did that middle ground with the Portal, didn't they? That was a handheld that
someone at work has bought one of those. It's because it's only come out, hasn't it? Not long ago.
Last year.
I think, I can't remember, I need to talk to him about it, but I can't remember if he bought it or he was going to get it, but I think he did, because he was just like, I just want to play games in bed. Cool.
Just put your PlayStation in your bedroom.
No, but that's the thing, he's like you, that he wants to be a couch gamer, but he might still want to continue that, so he'll take it to bed. So I was like, sure. If you can afford it, mate, fucking fill your boots, just let me know if it's worth it or not.
My biggest problem with the Portal, not so much now because there's been an update, so you can play the PlayStation Plus version of Game Pass, so you can stream games. You can do that now on it, but you couldn't at launch. But there was nothing that this didn't do. So you could download the PlayStation app and remote play from your PlayStation. Not with this, because this isn't a PlayStation controller, but that's a PlayStation Portal, and that's PS5 controller that I've already got, and a phone that I've already got, and a free app. Functions exactly the same as the Portal did. And I didn't see the point in spending like £250 so I could play upstairs.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, now you can do the game streaming, so you can play all different stuff without having to turn your PlayStation on or whatnot. Yep. But it just seemed a massive waste of an opportunity. And they literally just went, what if we cut a PlayStation 5 controller in half and put a screen in the middle? It doesn't visually look good, and it's disappointing because we both had PSPs. I loved my PSP at the time.
Still got it.
I fucking loved the Vita. It wasn't the most comfortable controller, but it was by far the most powerful handheld console that had ever come out, barring maybe the Mega Game Gear. But but it was both times. PSP was far more outsold by the DS, and then the Vita with the 3DS, and then they just went,
it's
knock it on the
Nintendo
fucking head.
They're not looking at power, they're looking at, right, what can we actually make for it?
They know what they're doing.
They can't, and that's the thing, I'll bang on about them beating a dead horse, but when have they gone wrong?
Even the Wii U. Wii U was great.
I can't play a Mario game and just go, oh, this is terrible, this. They're all good.
They're still good, yeah.
They're all good. If anything, there's just a saturation of them. And the price, it's always going to come back to the price. It's like, look, fucking hell. You've made, what was it, Mario Brothership or whatever, and Mario Wonder. And I can get even second hand, they're like 40, 45 quid a go.
To be fair, I only paid 40. I got Wonder the week it came out, and I only paid like £42, I think it was.
Well, I was looking at, what is it, the Paper Mario and the 1,000 Year Door or something like that. That's still pushing 40 quid. I'm like, fuck me. Again, I'm sure it's good and I'm sure I'd enjoy it, but unless I was just buying Nintendo games.
Yeah.
And that was it. You know, I didn't have a PC and I didn't have a whatever. I wouldn't knock it. I wouldn't question it because that's the only thing I'm spending money on.
But that's The Last of Us Part 2.
Precisely. And that, I can't say is going to be less enjoyable than Mario Brothership.
I mean, again, that was a bad example, really. But because of the price of the games, and again, like you've just said, you don't dislike the games themselves.
No, not at all.
You're not a Mario person. Like, if you could spend £45 on The Last of Us Part 2, remaster as well, so it's the best version, but Last of Us Part 2 or Brotherhood, it's not a tough decision. I fucking love Mario, and I'd still buy The Last of Us. But it's, like I say, I mean, like, pricing wise, like looking at $3.95 here, $4.49 in the $4.49.99 in the US, $6.99.95 in Australia.
Why do the Australians keep getting boned by this?
I mean, they
stuff?
always do. Like Chris was saying, he'll only buy a game like digitally and stuff on Steam on sale and that. But when he's over here, because his, I think he's got rid of it now, but when he first went over there, he had a PS4. And because that was a PAL version one, he'd buy games from, like, when he came over to England to see, like, me and his family and stuff, he'd just go and buy a load of games to take back with him because it was cheaper.
It would be, yeah.
But, like, even, like, there's a shop that does like British
To be
food.
clear, it's not cheaper to go to Australia from Australia to England to buy games. It's just that if you happen to be in the country...
He was already over here, and then before he went back.
I was going to say, I don't know what the markup in Australia is like, but if it's the price of a plane ticket back to the UK, jeez.
But even stuff like buying biscuits and stuff is like way more expensive. But a lot of the Australian shops have, and I could, again, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but from what I've been told, I think instead of the tax being applied after the fact, it's added there and then. So, like, import charges and everything else is added to the final cost of the product.
Well, you go to buy something from Sainsbury's, there's VAT on that.
No, but we don't pay the import. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I see.
So a lot of the stores will go, here's this bottle of absinthe. In Tesco here, it's 30 quid. But over there, it's $75. Just because as the consumer, you're already paying the extra stuff for it to offset. Something like that. I don't know. It's too confusing for me. It's way more expensive than here, put it that way.
Yeah.
But again, when you're looking at $700, that's a lot of money for a handheld console. It is.
It's a shit car, but it's a car.
It's still a car, yeah. I mean, the same could be said for both of our PCs. You could get a very good second-hand car.
That's true. We combine them together, we could get one almost good car.
Oh, our PC cost. I thought you meant combine the two cars together.
Strap two cars together, that doubles the horsepower.
I did see a prank video, and it was this genuine place in America where you're not allowed to pull into a space. You have to reverse, otherwise you'll get a ticket.
What?
It's just something to do with, like, easing congestion on the car parks, because it's easier for me to just go
slowing everybody down so they have to reverse in.
But what the guy did, he went to this place, he bought two, like, second-hand cars and had them cut in half and then put together so both ends were fronts with a driver.
They did that on Top Gear.
No, but I'm saying that's how, like, he just parked in, and then the ticket guy, like, they were in a van, watched him, and then the ticket guy come to put the ticket on, because obviously it was in the wrong way, and he got there, he was like,
Someone's loopholed me here.
Very funny. But anyway, Switch 2, probably end up
Yeah, it's affordable,
done.
It's great, we'll both get one immediately. That's what I think we're getting to the crux of it, yeah.
Daredevil Born Again, episode 8.
Yes.
The penultimate episode, Dan. What do you think?
Great.
Yeah, it's a good one. I thought you were going to just go, nah, I hate it.
No, like we didn't get a chance to talk last week about the 2 episodes that were released.
Should probably include those.
Yeah. So far, there's not really been a weak link
Weak CGI
in this entire show. Oh yeah, that's awful. But I'm so glad that they're not doing it very often. We've seen it twice so far with him sort of running around. I hope that they've just gone, we can't, well, either we don't have the time or the money or whatever to make this look good. Minimal.
Yeah.
Just do it minimal.
It's the safest way of doing it.
Yeah. But the show itself, I'm so happy with like all the performances from all of the people that have been in it so far. I think Charlie Cox is just, it's like he hasn't stopped doing this.
I don't think he has.
Like he's just like, and especially in this last one where he's just really getting himself wound up with what's been going on, and rightly so. It's just kind of, I don't have enough time to talk about it, honestly. There's just so much about it that I absolutely love, and I kind of, the only thing is that I do harken back to what we were discussing when, we knew that John Berthnell was going to be back in it. And the concern, as is with a lot of this stuff, is that, okay, well, how much are other people or other characters going to steal away, from, you get bloody Thor showing up. Oh my God, it's Thor. It's not like, okay, well, we'll just move on from that. It'll have to be about that. So the fact that he's been in it 1 episode for 5 minutes is pretty much what I can't remember exactly what I said, but I assumed that it was either going to be he's going to be another main player, or he's just going to be in it once. Like, it'll just be a one and done. Yeah,
and I am glad that that's what they've done. And so when we talked about it last time, it's that, do you think he'll come back? I would have assumed that he would, but I don't, unless he comes back in this last one. Obviously, that's not going to be the case. But he has got this one shot coming up that he's writing with somebody of the writers. But what I was going to say, my Muse prediction panned out. Obviously, we haven't talked about that yet. Dispatch pretty quickly. But I do feel that they've got to kind of move it along a bit.
Yeah, they were hurrying along to get back to, spoilers, but to get back to Bullseye. So, again, it felt odd that they just went, okay, well, he's in it for 1 episode and then he's in prison, cool. But then that whole thing's just wrapped back around again, and now he's back out.
In a good way.
Yeah, I just hope that they do a bit more with him, because I really like that guy. Yeah, he shot someone's eye out with a tooth. That's amazing.
I found out, I think it was the week that this episode, the first episode aired for Born Again, but the gentleman that I can't remember his name, apologies, but Bullseye, he was very nearly Captain America.
Really?
Before Chris Evans got it, yeah.
Wow. I mean, no offense, mate, but you couldn't have done that.
I mean, I assume if he got that far, they were quite happy with him. But then, I can't imagine anybody else.
No, it's
people don't even accept.
He could have had an incredible career out of it, but nah, that's Chris Evans' role forever, and it was always meant to be. Sorry.
Do you think it would have gone the other way if he'd have got that shit and Chris Evans would have been Bullseye in this?
Because he would have been like, oh my God, remember that guy from that Fantastic Four film ages ago? Now he's this secondary villain in the Daredevil show. Nah.
I mean, to be fair, he was the main antagonist in season 3.
He was, yeah. And again, I like the fact that he came back. But then, with what we've seen so far, we've very briefly talked about this today after we both watched it. What do you think this last episode? Again, not a last episode, but the last that we're going to get for a while. It needs to be something big to kind of cliffhanger the next part on. Bullseye returning, that's a great little thing. But as per this last episode, I mean, Matt's kind of out of action now. So what the fuck? But how's that going to work? Is he going to call in some favours? Is She-Hulk going to show up? Is Frank going to show up? Is Kamala going to show up? That would be a hell of a get if they could get her in.
I mean, it wouldn't be difficult.
Well, it is. I mean, she's like a space-based, you know, multi-dimensional
I think she's back on
now.
Earth now, though, isn't she?
Oh, no, I don't mean as in, like, she's just unavailable. I just meant, like, it's well within her capabilities, and they could just, you know, all you've got to do is just have her dad call her up and just be like, yo, can you get down here? There's, like, some really weird shit going on with the mayor.
There's no, like, tension, though, is there? Once you've got, like, a super-powered, ridiculously overpowered super being, it's like...
Well, you say that. They did actually say in this that Bullseye is super powered. He's got like supervision or something like that. That just seems like a bit of a hand wavy retcon. Just like, yeah, he's like super eyes.
I mean, he's always had the like, unlike like Hawkeye's just an impressive shot, whereas Bullseye his ability is he can make anything into a weapon with like 100% accuracy.
I'll be honest, mate. But I can make anything into a weapon.
But with 100% accuracy. Could you shoot your own tooth at somebody?
I've never tried it, so I refuse to answer that.
But he's also got, and I can't remember for the life of me, but at the end of Daredevil Season 3, the post-credit scene is him being, after Fisk broke his spine, he's having the operation done. Like in the comics, he has adamantium put in.
Right.
In the Netflix show, they changed the name of it to something else. Because obviously they couldn't use adamantium. But there's been no mention of that in this. So it could, for all we know, adamantium exists in this world. So he could already have adamantium. I don't know.
No.
Unlikely.
No is the answer to that. No, he doesn't.
But I'm still shocked that we've had 8 episodes and we've had less than one episode of him in time-wise. We've had less than one episode in the suit, and I still love it.
We've had about 15 minutes with him.
That's what I mean.
Suit. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not missing it, but it's in the same way that I'm not missing. Oh my god, why has there not been a massive fight and a big punch-up today? It's just, oh my god, like. Now after watching today's, I'm like, who's this guy that he's defended, that he's been a prick to? What's that about? I want to see what's going on with this case. Like, everything in it is just interesting
It's like he's on his way to a breakdown, though, isn't it? And we've never seen this kind of side to Murdoch before.
No, and I think, like, the I had to rewind it, because it's just the venom in it was just... Like, when he's just smashed Bullseye's face against the table, then he takes him out, and he just goes, fuck you!
Yeah. And
I was like, I don't think I've ever heard him swear before. And there was, like, some real fucking viciousness behind that. I mean, for obvious reason.
Yeah. Spoiler.
But it's just sort of like... Yeah, it's just like, man, if you wasn't in the police station right now, would you actually just beat the living shit out of him? You literally tried to kill him last time. So, now that he's out, and just sort of like, now you've taken a bullet for Fisk because you know that he wasn't the one who arranged the hit on Foggy. Great little twist there. Love that. Although I did say a couple of weeks ago that I thought that they were keying Vanessa up to be Kingpin now, if he was moving into something a bit more legit. And the fact that Bullseye's still taking a shot at Fisk, now I'm thinking, did Vanessa try and get him out of prison or something like that? Has she done something to arrange it to take Fisk out of the way so that she can step up, maybe?
Maybe. I mean, I think this is leading to a different story. Like, I remember last week week before, let's talk about it, and I said, there is a story, I'm not going to go into spoilers, but it involves Vanessa. And I was pretty sure she was the one that organised the kill based on this story. And now I'm even more leading to the fact that they're either taking bits of this story or they are going to do an accurate representation of it in the show, which will lead to lots of other things that we won't go into. But given the state of just all over the place, batshit mental crazy that Murdoch's in at the minute, I still don't understand why he would protect Fisk.
Because if he's not the one who arranged the death of his mate, then he technically hasn't done anything wrong that Matt's aware of.
But Matt's that logical thinking is sane, Matt. He's like, you haven't done anything, so I can't morally let you be shot. But the mood he's in at the minute, like he assaulted the Bullseye in the police station and then lied and said he did it to himself. Like that's the mood that we're dealing with.
Yeah, but he also knows that he's directly responsible for his death. Whether who ordered him to or not, he definitely killed him. There's no getting around that. And he'll hate him forever. But if he thought that Fisk was the one who ordered it, which is why he was there in the first place, is to try and confront him or do whatever he was doing with it, as soon as he realised that that wasn't the case, then he's just putting himself in harm's way. Although now it's very much a case of everyone's going to be like, how did you take a bullet for that guy? You literally stepped in front of him to take the bullet. So what the fuck?
But he also could just say, I was just walking. I didn't know the bullet had gone off.
Maybe. But apparently Vanessa knows that he's Daredevil as well.
That is going to be my next question, yeah.
Do you reckon Fisk just told her?
Yeah, she hasn't figured that out.
Yeah, they haven't. They've had like one interaction ever,
if that. But I did like the dance partner switch up. That was very classy. I did like.
Although I feel for his missus though, I would have left by then.
I mean,
you're in the middle of having to go and say,
I can't see this being a lasting relationship.
Like you're backing out, like you're just being like you're being awful, and then he's clearly just not paying attention. I don't know. Oh fuck this. Like the only reason I'm here is because they asked me as a courtesy. I turned up, I said hello, and I'm not going to stand here with a boyfriend that's just going to blank me to my fucking face.
Well, especially she's just been. They've left her as clients now as well, so she's lost money to go into that event.
And she had to shoot someone to death. There's a lot going on for her, and then to the one bloke that you're supposed to be there to, is supposed to have you back, as far as you're aware. It's just like, Daredevil's not so bad, is he? I'd be like, oh fuck you, mate, I'm out. Call me later when you actually want to give a shit.
What really made me laugh with that scene though is when she's talking at him and she's like, "You're not even listening," and it's like zoning out so we can listen to Fisk and stuff. And he comes back and it's like, sorry, like what you're saying. And then it just automatically goes off again. But then the camera pans to the other one's talking. So as far as we're aware, he's just listening for that like 4 or 5 minute conversation that Fisk's having. She's just talking at him. He's not even paying attention to it at all.
No, at least he could go. So he doesn't have to be listening to what she's saying, but at least she thinks that he is.
Let's pretend. Well, he just say he's deaf.
Yeah, she talks at him for about 10 minutes for him not paying attention. He goes, "What? Sorry, I can't. It's loud in here." She's like,
"It's too loud.
You're like a foot away from me. What are you on about?"
I'm surprised he went, really. It was obviously something.
I don't think he would have done, and until that guy, until he went to see Bullseye, and he just didn't really answer any questions and kind of made things a bit more complicated for him. I don't think he would have gone.
I guess.
But it's weird, like,
he worked out the thing at the bar, though, didn't he?
Yeah, but you can tell that he's slipping because he's just like, his girlfriend's like, I can't remember her name. Helen.
Heather.
Heather, is it?
Yeah.
Quinn. Yeah. Either way, though, she's just sort of like, what the fuck's going on? You're not the guy that I met. And he's just like, it's just using you to get to me. And she's not like, what are you on about? Why? You're just a lawyer, for fuck's sake.
A counselor,
yeah.
Yeah. But even her though, like she's like, oh, by the way, just before we go to do this, Bullseye's been moved. And he wants to talk to you. Well, but don't worry about it though. Should I not have told you? What do you think?
Hey, you know that guy who murdered your best friend? He wants to have a chat to you in prison. Do you want to go? Not really, no.
Well, like, it was only like a couple of episodes before. She's like, you need to include me in this fucking inner circle that you and the old copper have got going on. Stop lying to me. Stop keeping things from me. Should I have told you about that guy who murdered your best mate? Nah.
Probably not.
What do you think's gonna
tell me about it when he's been murdered in prison, because
he's the same though, isn't he? The copper guy, when he goes to tell him about Muse, and he's like, he's murdered like fucking 70 people. Don't go do anything though.
Yeah, don't get involved though, mate.
It's like, keep your fucking mouth shut then.
Frank is the only person who's gone, just go and do it.
Yeah,
Like, clearly that's
he
the reason that you're
obviously
here.
wants
You want to go and do it, so just go and bloody sort it out. And then he has, and he caught him in one fucking night.
But I think this is where Frank comes back. Well, we've got some potential options here. So, as we've already said, we've got Matt's been shot. It's going to be on the news because he took a bullet for the mayor, where the public knows whether it's indirectly or not. Matt Murdock was shot, but the killer was shooting.
Well, it'd be like, the lawyer that put away the kingpin, takes a bullet for him.
Yeah.
Like, that's sensationalist news.
He's all for tariffs. But then, obviously, it being on the news, that's going to get Frank's attention. That's going to get She-Hulk's attention. This is the potential for even the fucking Defenders. Maybe we get them back.
No.
Did you see?
You can dream about a lot of things, mate, but they aren't coming back.
I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy who played Danny Rand in Iron Fist, he's like begging to come back. He's like, give me a just the actual quote for the thing was, just give me a fucking chance. It's like, you did. You had fucking nearly 2 seasons of it.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that was not his fault. You can't blame a lead actor for a whole project not being very good. He's not a director / writer / producer / choreographer / editor / everything else. But also that, the one person in that who's clearly got martial arts training was the only one that I gave a shit about.
Yeah.
And she was the only one that I want to come back into this.
She was very good.
She was, but you could tell when it's natural, when they've gone through the right training, and you can demonstrate it rather than it looks like it's a choreographed fight from a pantomime.
He potentially could have been a good Iron Fist given the right situation and the right training and everything else, but didn't pan out for me personally. But this hit in the news, this will be Frank will rear his head, or like I say, She-Hulk will appear. Unlikely to see someone like Jessica Jones and that, but somebody's got to come because he's not going to be able to go and do anything for this last episode. Really?
No, I mean, maybe Karen will come back if she sees him getting shot.
But again, what's she going to do? Go to
no,
Frank,
I just mean
suppose.
To comfort him and just be like, oh my god, are you all right? But assuming that... Also, you've got this... I love this as well. This corrupt task force... Not corrupt, but, they gloves off task force of just, do whatever you want, basically. The mayor's got you, and you're not going to be able to be prosecuted, or, you do whatever you want. Someone takes a shot at the mayor, and they don't light that fucking balcony up immediately. Why were they not all just pulling their guns and unloading on that balcony the second that bullet hit?
When they were getting Fisk out of there, then and I did like as well, I forgot his name, the young lad. He's that deputy mayor.
Yeah.
He's shielding BB.
BB, yeah.
And I was like,
it's because she's using him, but I think he does actually care.
I think
about
he
her.
likes her, yeah. But you got all the people; they're all getting Fisk and his wife and everyone out, and every single person left the room like this. Nobody's firing. So all of the task force people, none of them are shooting. None of the
mate.
police,
I would have. You've got a guy at altitude with a sniper rifle who just took a shot at the mayor. Everyone's fair game on that dance floor, as far as you're aware. Everyone would open up on him. Everyone, because you're shooting
had a gun, she'd have
up
shot
and
him.
away. Yeah, she would. She's the only person that I'd actually be confident would hit him. But you're firing away from a crowd towards an active shooter.
Yeah.
What police officer wouldn't take that shot? Even if you don't hit him, the only other person that was up there was your mate, which means that he's killed your mate and is shooting down on you, and you're not immediately unloading.
That did make me laugh though, because Zoe said, like, she goes, "Where did you get a fucking sniper from?" I said, "Well, they had the guards on the top," and then the camera panned down and went, "There he is."
Yeah, with that massive fork stuck in his neck.
But that could, like you say, you could shoot as free as you want. There's only him up there, and that could be your only time, as in your job role, to fire a gun at someone.
Yeah,
take
when
it.
Someone's taking a shot at the mayor. Yeah,
but yeah, not a single bullet was fired.
No,
and I don't know why
I
I
mean,
didn't take
unless in
another
the next
shot
episode they just once they've cleared a few people out, that's when they just start firing up there. But he stayed up there a lot longer than I would have done. If you take a shot and you miss, your positioning, your everything is you bounce immediately. Like there's all those police down there.
But the fact he was stood there though, why don't you just take another shot? Matt's already on the floor now. He ain't gonna jump in again. Just take another shot. Job done.
Yeah.
You could take them both out. But do you think, because obviously it was Fisk that had him moved, but we don't know what Fisk.
That's true. Yeah, that's what I mean.
So
I
do you think
that
it could have
potentially
been her,
if
like you say,
Vanessa's making a play, and she can again not hire him, but she gets him into a position where he can easily escape given his situation. And she's like, look, if you can get out, I'll give you money and whatever and make sure you're okay. You break out, we're going to be here. Take the shot. And then she's got the business, and she wouldn't get the mayorship necessarily, but I don't think she gives a shit about that.
No, she don't want any of that.
No, I think she just wants to, and now especially as she's gone down there and she's chosen to kill Adam rather than releasing him, she's fully accepted that part of her life now. And again, she's not shaken about it going, oh my god, what have I just done? She was like, I can either let him go and maybe this all kind of gets brought down if he goes to the cops, or I just kill him. And that's the choice she went.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was like under duress either. It's not like, again, okay, well, if I don't kill him, he's going to kill, like Kingpin's going to kill me. I think it's just a case of, no, that's what she wants to do. And he knows that that's like a test of loyalty almost.
Yeah.
Are you actually the woman I think you are? Do you want to step up and run the business? If that's the case, you need to make a hard choice. And it's either, I trust you. And then that could be the trust that she needs in order to get Bullseye to take a shot at him, maybe. Because why else would Bullseye be there going after him, not Matt?
Well, what do you think will happen if Fisk finds out that it was, just say for argument's sake, it was Vanessa that put the hit on Foggy?
I don't think that would make any difference to him, though.
Because he swore he wouldn't go after Foggy and Karen.
But what's the benefit, though? Like, you kill him, you don't accomplish anything by that. Like, the only reason that Matt's figured it out is that he was about to win the trial, and I can't remember what the trial was that he was actually about to win. So she's had him taken out, but unless that trial was about her or her interests or something like that, I can't quite remember what they were talking about in that first episode. I
don't think we did find out.
I just don't see what that would accomplish, unless the plan was to kill all of them because someone found out. Again, it would make sense if it was Kingpin, because he's like, right, well, I'm sick of Matt, kill him and all his fucking mates while you're there.
I don't know. It just seems to be a very Foggy orientated one.
Yeah, I don't know what she would get out of it.
There is a bit in the specific Daredevil story with Vanessa. There is a specific reason, but on the off chance that that's where this is going, won't touch on that.
Sure.
But just the fact that Fisk has really the only person he has been honest with is Matt.
Kinda.
And he's like, I had nothing to do with like your friend being shot or anything, blah blah blah. And obviously Matt's like listening. He's like, well, he's telling the truth. But that for her to go behind his back, if it was just a case of he's already told her that he's Daredevil, and she's gone, well, let's kill his best mate then.
Well,
if it's something, but that's what I mean. If it's something as pedantic and stupid as that, then I can see Fisk like, what? Why? That's stupid. Why have you done that? But obviously, if there is an actual reason for it, we'll find out. Not this next episode, but
well, hopefully, because I'm not waiting a year to find out as to what the hell all this is accomplished by.
I don't think we will.
I don't know. Someone needs to spill the beans at some point, but at this point, that's what I mean. Like, Frank isn't going to squeeze a confession out of someone. He's just going to kill him. Matt would need to beat the shit out of someone in order to get them to break and tell him what the
Yeah.
hell's going on. But he can't do that if he's got a bullet in his shoulder.
Why don't any of these vigilantes, with the exception of the Punisher, wear like bulletproof vests and stuff?
Because it cuts into their cool, shiny costumes.
Or have it just built into the costume and
He's
wear
not
it
John
over
Wick.
under your shirt?
I mean, even though Fisk... Yeah, Fisk basically had bulletproof armor, but he's also so big you could put 3 rounds in him and it probably wouldn't even hit the bone.
It just seems really daft. Like, just wear a vest under your
Also,
shirt.
when you go to a black tie event, little get-together, you probably get patted down. And they go,
No, we
why are
watched
you
him
wearing
walk
a
straight
bulletproof
in.
vest, mate?
He walked straight in.
That is actually true, yeah. Maybe there was a big checkpoint just before he got to the stairs.
Or he could have just gone through the window and made his way down.
Yeah, no one would notice a blind guy going in through a window. You go,
Did like
"How
that
did you get-"
in Josie's when he's figured it out and then he just walks off. She's like, he didn't use his cane. He goes, I didn't know.
Yeah, there's not enough people pointing that out, in my opinion. Going, wait a minute, aren't you blind?
Especially when it is that walking, and then as soon as he gets just out of eyesight, and then he starts running. He's like, there's still people.
The cane just goes away immediately.
He's a good blind man though.
Yeah.
Better than Ben Affleck's.
I would love to see Ben Affleck turn up in this.
I honestly wish he'd showed up in Deadpool or Wolverine.
They never asked him and they never intended to, or they did and they just couldn't come to terms. They must have discussed it. I reckon they would have gone through everybody and said, right, who can we get who's not a criminal or so out of the public eye that they never know who they are. I reckon they went to Nick Cage and said, let's get Ghost Rider in. Let's just anyone that we can get from the... What?
Who owns Ghost Rider now? Is it still Universal? Not Universal.
It depends. I suppose, yeah, maybe not the Nick Cage, but you could have used the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ghost Rider.
Ghost Driver. I refuse to call him Ghost Rider because he drives a car.
Yeah, but yeah, I reckon they would have asked a lot of people and just see who they could actually get back, who they could afford to get back, and who that they could just sort of have in to get killed off pretty quickly. I mean, it's like, look, do you want to come in and just do a day's work?
Some of them could have just been like, I ain't got the fucking time.
Maybe.
Let's see. I mean, I don't know what Affleck was doing then.
Yeah, I'm not coming in to just... I don't care enough about the role that I was in.
Yeah.
To come back and do it for 5 minutes and then get killed. I'm not interested.
I can't see him getting like the Fan Four Sticks cast back.
That would have been incredible though if they had done. Got them all together and then blown them all up or something.
but I could see Affleck doing it. Like, from the stuff I've seen, he has got like a pretty decent sense of humour for this kind of thing.
Maybe I think he probably wants to steer clear of the whole superhero. He's been burnt twice now. I reckon he's just like, I'm not interested. I can take a joke, but fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, he's also got to get back in the suit and stuff as well. It's probably not the same suit, but
he's too big for that Daredevil now. Anyway, being enormous.
Good Kingpin.
Maybe, yeah.
I know, but he's the brother of Punisher in The Accountant and the soon-to-be released Accountant 2.
Yeah, big fan of The Accountant. I'm actually really quite looking forward to Accountant 2, just to see the both of them back together again, just blowing dudes away. It's going to be a good old time.
It's good to see Beth in a big-budget Hollywood film.
Well, he's in Baby Driver and stuff, isn't he? He's
barely.
He's a good get.
Didn't it for like
I know, but
12 minutes?
He's good at it though. He's like an absolute fucking prick. But and he was in Wolf of Wall Street a bunch as well.
He was actually, yeah. Good film.
Yeah, but there's actually been speaking of films, there's been a couple of trailers that are probably worth mentioning. We had a trailer for I had no idea it was coming out, Tron Ares, which I really quite like the look of. It looks like it's the grid into the real world to some degree, or programs escaping from the grid. There's just a lot of reaction shots of people just going, "What the fuck," which I really quite enjoy.
They come out of nowhere though.
Kinda, yeah. I was just like, someone weren't mentioning it, and I was like, "What do you mean there's a new Tron film?" I would have heard of it, surely. But yeah, that looks great. We got an extended little bit of Superman
Yes.
Legacy. Is that what it's called?
Just got Superman.
Is it?
Yeah.
Fair enough. But we got a little bit more of the crypto trailer that we got initially as part of the teaser with him being taken to the fortress. With the, I can't remember what they're called, like the super bots, basically, giving him some solar radiation,
Very cleverly
and
done.
healing him up. Just use big magnifying glasses like his hand and just zap him with the sun until he's healed. That's a great plan.
I did like that bit though, where obviously Crypto jumping on him, trying to play and stuff.
Oh my god! And he's just like, oh fuck! Oh god!
But then when he's back at the fortress, and he's just like, he's got 14 broken bones and stuff. He's like, yeah, 13 of them are from fucking Crypto. Like, he wasn't that bad before he got there.
Yeah.
But very, very well done. Very good CGI on the Crypto. I think.
Yeah, I feel like that they've. Yeah, there's something about this that just makes me think maybe this is the one to kind of get this back on track. Like, it looks like this has got heart.
I got high
and
hopes.
Thought. I actually do now. Like, rather than just sort of like, oh god, how are they going to ruin it this time? But this is the one where I'm like, this seems like it seems a bit happier. It seems a bit brighter.
I don't like the suit.
I'm not. I can't say that I'm not sold on it. I quite like it.
I like the design.
It's more him as Clark. He just looks like a big hipster.
That bit I
rather
don't
than
get.
just sort of like with his big perm, whatever. But the aesthetics of it, I think, is just going to be just better than the sort of the miserable Superman. That we've had
definitely.
For the last while,
it seems a bit more bumbling like previous versions.
Yeah, I think if anything, they go. You see what Reeves is doing, where he's tripping over himself and everything's just sort of like clumsy and a bit. Ooh, do that because that works. Because then when you put on the suit and you blast through a planet or whatever, people are like fucking hell.
But the bit I don't like, not the bit, the thing I don't like with the suit is how it fits, because he's packed on a lot of muscle for the role. I don't know if you've seen him without clothes, Dan, but. At top rather. He's got a special Snapchat channel, but he's got rather large for the role. Yet
I should hope so. Yeah.
The suit doesn't seem to fit properly in order to show what he's now become as a big old muscly Superman, as opposed to Cavill's.
They'll
fake
take
muscles and
point,
abs and stuff. No, not fake muscles. Obviously, Cavill's fucking huge, but it's contoured to show definition, and there probably is some fake muscles on the suit as well. But can you imagine if I get my wish and Alan Richardson becomes the new Batman? Him standing next to this Superman.
Yeah, he'd be twice the size of him.
That's what I mean.
But that's fine though, because he doesn't need the physical muscle.
No, it's more of a visual thing. Like Superman can be as thin as a twig. It's irrelevant. He's not strong because he's got big muscles. He's strong because he's Kryptonian and he's powered by the sun. It's just,
well, it's that, isn't it? That was it. Touch telekinesis or whatever it is. That it's like a field that he generates. Yeah. But
they made a lot of stuff.
Batman
up in
needs
the
to be. Yeah, but he needs to be 6 times the size of a normal man, because that's how he can do what he can do. It's how he can swing from rooftops and without pulling his arm out of his socket every time he uses his grapnel gun. And he can throw someone through a window 20 feet away because he's an enormous man. And yeah, I don't think you need it. Which is why Affleck looks so bloody big, and I believe half the shit that he pulled off, because I was like, yeah, you'd need to be that size in order to do the shit you're doing, mate.
Exactly.
So fair play. But yeah, I can't wait for it. Honestly, I think this is the one that's going to really get that whole thing back on track. Or
I hope so.
This is the best swing that they've made, and they still miss. I just don't think that they.
There is the
potential.
potential.
I don't think they will.
But
I think there's
James
too much
Gunn's got a
riding
pretty
on
good
this.
track record.
And I think that with giving him sort of like, we need our own Kevin Feige. It's you've got experience dealing with how they produce and how they make films, and you've made successful films. We need you to come and kind of do the same thing for us, and we'll just give you whatever you want. And just make it happen. Make us $1 billion movie, please. Get us back on fucking track. So that looks really, really good. You sent me a trailer that was incredibly exciting today, that I was not expecting, in the same way of Tron Ares, which was Predator, Killer of Killers, I think it is. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah. Callum, I don't think I've ever been more excited for anything in my life.
I mean, I won't get that far, but it does look very good.
God damn. I mean, Prey was an absolute left field. God damn, that was an incredible fucking movie. Not just that was the best Predator film, which potentially it might be, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I think it is.
Yeah, obviously, I think the original Predator, but that's the thing.
Different
it's not
film.
like it's Terminator or Alien. You know, where there's a couple of solid ones right in there, and then it's taking a little bit to kind of get them back on track. Yeah, Predator's 1 is the only one that I was just sort of like, fuck me, this is really interesting and really cool. But Prey was just like, I wasn't expecting you to salvage this. There's no reason that should have been that good. But I think it's because they had no fucking budget. So we're like, right, you got a Predator for 3 minutes. That's it.
It's the same as like your Deadpools and stuff. It's like we've got very little budget. We've got very little in terms of sets and what we can do.
Yeah.
So focus on, not so much Deadpool, but focus on the story, the characters.
Yep.
And do as much as you can with as little as you've got. Arguably similar to Bane in Dark Knight Rises. Pretty shitty film overall compared to The Dark Knight and Begins, but when all you can do is act with your eyes, it's pretty. He does a good job, and it's good. And being told straight up it's going to be limited, Prey's fucking fantastic.
There's a lot of fog.
So good.
Like no one will really see anything that often. But yeah, it absolutely. Again, I think it's probably because I was like, oh god, here we go again. Like the low expectation I had of it. But I think even if I'd have been excited for it, which I wasn't, to be very clear, I still think I would have come out of that or watched that at home just going, bloody hell, that really surprised me.
Yeah.
But it's the director of Prey, but it's an animated Predator. Animated. I don't think it's a sequel or anything like that. It's just its own little.
I think it's the
thing.
same universe per se.
Well, technically they all are. Like there's never been this is a different Predator universe. It's all one. It's the same because again it's the crossover with Aliens. I think as far as I'm aware, that's all still in the same canon. But they've gone right. Okay, how about a Predator that's hunting a ninja? How about a predator that's hunting a Viking? How about a Predator that's hunting after fighter pilots in the Second World War? Let's just have all these different predators, all going after like the best warriors of their particular times whenever they come back to Earth. They won't leave us alone for some reason. Considering these are gigantic hulking alien monsters with lasers and shit, they won't stop bothering us when we've got sticks and stones to fight them back with. And yet they still lose. To be fair, maybe I've answered my own question. I'd be coming back and saying, no, I'll kill them all this time. Fuck them. I've got a nuclear weapon on my wrist and some girl killed me with a brick. I'm not having it.
That shot in the trailer for this though, when you've got like the old not B planes, but whatever they are, and the alien ship just appears.
B-51s.
And it's just like
when it just smashes into it. Like what are those bullets? And I'm pretty sure I've watched enough fucking YouTube essays about like the Second World War and inaccuracies in films and stuff. They have enough ammunition to last about 5 seconds.
Yeah,
like fully automatic before they're just out. What are they going to do against a cloaked alien ship?
That's also
mental.
Good cinema, is it?
No, true, but I that side of it, I'm sort of like, no, give me the woman Viking who's like going to go up against him with like a wooden shield and a stick with a ball on the end of it. I want to see how that plays out. Or like the one in, I think it's in Japan, where like he throws a spear, it nails a guy to a wall, and then it extends a blade and cuts him in half.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this could be the most violent animated film I've ever seen. And I couldn't be more excited for it. It's pretty close. It's amazing.
It looks very good, and I saw it because I actually sent it last night. Well, obviously didn't see it till this morning.
But, yeah, I only watched it literally before I messaged you about it.
I can't remember what I looked at, and that was just on the side. I was like, wait, what? It just happened to be by chance. I've seen no fanfare for it. Nothing. I should probably have a look when it's out, Dan.
I think it did say. I thought it said it was mid-year-ish, I think.
Oh. I mean, that's
But
like
it's...
a couple of months away, if that's the case.
Yeah, but I think it was... actually, no, is that... No,
Depends
that might
how
be
it's
Love,
done,
Death and
because if
Robots
it's
I was
American...
thinking about. Either way, it'll be on Disney+, because Prey was.
Yeah.
So
it'll definitely be
I
on
don't have
Disney+.
to- Yeah, I don't have to go anywhere or try and find it online or pay for some other goddamn subscription.
You need to find
or something.
time.
It'll just be there. Oh, I'll find the fucking time, mate. Don't you bloody worry about that.
Well, Dave said today, go watch Daredevil without me if you want, because I'm obviously doing podcast today.
As you're 20 minutes into it, like, yeah, don't worry about it.
Wasn't it finished? And ironically, at the time, I didn't have time to watch it, so I thought I'd just watch it later. And she said, well, it's up to you, because Dan might not have watched it yet. I said, if there's only one this week, he'll have watched it. If there's two, maybe not.
Yeah, no, I'd leave work early if that was the case.
And this was like 10 to 8 this morning. I will say, I do miss those days of Netflix where Daredevil or Punisher or whatever show was on, and it would be like, I don't know, like 4:15 Saturday morning, and just got a text going, finished.
I don't think I've got it in me anymore, mate.
I never did.
I genuinely don't. I think those days are beyond me.
It's because you're a cat dad now, Dan.
I am. I've got responsibilities, and that apparently is exhausting. How the fuck you put up with a kid? No idea. How do you get anything done?
Dogs and a kid, Dad. Fucking rats and everything. You name it. It annoys me. But I think that's about all I got, though, Dan. I don't think I have
yeah,
exciting.
I mean, speaking of time, I reckon that is ours going to be up.
Some good English there, Dan.
Yes.
If you want to see more, you can go to podcastwithplay.com. It's all going along at the bottom of the screen, and you can check out the other Let's Plays, podcast, game shows, and other shenanigans that we've been up to. Dan, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.